Okay. Yeah, this is fun, I guess. Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't think about that. Please don't get any pain on that. Okay. So, to preface this, I think that Code Geass has had a bit of an underground kind of comeback. AKA, I saw like 3, probably just 2 reaction channels watch it around the same time as each other, and then the new anime came out. And yeah, I think that the challenge for this video is to get it done before the anime finishes. It's already at episode 5 as of filming, and I think that, like most Code Geass sequels, it will be unknown and not talked about. Seriously, does anybody know what Akito the Exiled is about? Or even what it is in general? Seriously, like no one, I've never heard anyone talk about that show. But one thing I think that a lot of people should talk more about, just in general, and I feel like the reactor channels also talked about, was the movie.
Here are the clips I'm talking about because I kind of got scared because I didn't know if they actually talked about it in their channels or they didn't, but they did, in fact, by slightly mentioning it or being like, yeah, we'll watch it maybe.
Really much else to say. It ended
Are there
on a
like
perfect little bow.
after theories? I mean,
There's a movie that came after.
Oh, okay.
It's like an epilogue and other thing. The theories about Lelouch being alive, you mean?
Yeah.
Episode. And we do want to react to at least one of the movies. I think one of them, I'm under the impression that one of them is kind of okay, kind of good. So if that is true, then we will probably react to that for our Patreon and YouTube members.
The movie of Code Geass, not the whole trilogy of recap movies, but the movie after that, the Lelouch Resurrection, was something that, again, was a Code Geass sequel that no one really watched and or talked about. As it wasn't as good as the show, but what can you do with a 2-hour movie? I feel like I should do a recap of the recap movies, as it is slightly different than the original TV show, and a simple review over the, kind of me crapping on it and then talking about how much I love it, which is essentially how it is. As of writing this, when I was writing this, I originally thought that people didn't like it, because a lot of the reviews that I saw when I started writing this was that people didn't like it. And then when I was rewriting it to look over stuff again, I found out that a lot of people had the same consensus as I did, which was, it's a good movie, but it's not as good as the show. One thing I would like to talk about before we start is that I think everybody who's a fan of Code Geass should at least watch the movie and have their own opinion on it.
So Volume 1 Plus already did it, except it's only on their Patreon, I believe, and Discord, if you're a member of their Discord. So let's react. It's your turn. So it totally defeats the purpose of what I say here.
And to start off the recap, I will quickly go over the recap movies. One of the biggest things in the recap movies is that Shirley lives. Shirley living is probably the biggest difference in the recap than it is in the show, and a lot of the important bits with Shirley are also taken out, with the exclusion of Mao. She's not really even in the recaps as far as I'm concerned. I kind of skimmed it, as well as there's also no more. It's also more Suzaku focused, and there's also a very funny image I found, because I know I have it on my phone somewhere. But here's this funny image of Jeremiah. The one that I found was a fan translation, and they put a little extra thingy, and I thought it was quite funny. So another thing that was a big change was Jeremiah's Geass Chancellor, and the scene with Shirley in it. So in the second season, if you don't remember, everyone's memories was rewritten because the Emperor decided to change everyone's perception and make Lelouch think that he was just a normal Britannian citizen, and he wasn't a prince. And with the exclusion of Mao, Lelouch doesn't Geass her into forgetting that he is just a person that exists in her world. And instead, when she is anti-Geass, I already forgot, Geass cancelled, she remembers that Nunnally and Lelouch are both princes and princesses of Britannia. But that's about it for Shirley. It glosses over a lot of the filler, which was like the silly Code Geass shenanigans with the whole club president thing and him messing around and doing all that stuff. A lot of that is glossed over. Also, more time given to Suzaku, of course. Nina is on board with Lelouch from the start, at the very end of the season 2. So when like Lelouch and Suzaku, here's the image of what I'm talking about. When they're talking together, Lelouch and Suzaku, Nina, C2, and gray-haired guy, I think I have his name somewhere, Leroy? Leroy? Something like that. Craig? He's there too, and so is Nina. Also gives some explanation to other things as well. There are some very, very small changes, like meeting the Japanese leader. That scene is entirely different, but it still hits the same plot point as he figures out it's Lelouch, and he's like, this man must be protected, and make sure this, and that, blah, blah, blah. That happens. Meeting Euphemia is different a bit. It's kind of like glossed over very fast. Detard is the one that nearly kills Violetta and has her whole amnesia thing. The Black Knights go to Rakshata rather than the other way around, and like essentially when you meet Rakshata for the first time, she goes to the Black Knights, and in the recap movies, they go to Rakshata to talk to her about it, and that's her introduction to the show, quote unquote. More about the Chinese Federation. Nigel tells the Black Knights it's Lelouch, but I think they did that anyways, and I think it's slightly different. Rollo gets the charm before fighting V2. At the very end of the fight with the Emperor and Marianne, I think this might have been a fan translation thing, but it says the change from Lelouch is Euphemia's enemy to I need to verify something with the false king. I don't know. Maybe that's right or not. Nina does not have her Oppenheimer moment with Suzaku where he goes crazy. I mean, like I said, some minor changes, not that much explained in the show, but C2 explains that the reason he was unbrainwashed was because she kissed him before he was brainwashed, so that maybe was like, I don't know if they explained that in their show, I don't super remember, but yeah. Okay, future me here. I'm just gonna end the video here, and then I'll do the second part, because this is like a 20-minute video. I'm editing right now. It's like, I'm just gonna cut this in half, so this part 1 and part 2. So yeah, see you next time. It's like only gonna be like 10 minutes, so I guess in the next week. So I feel pretty good about it, more or less. It's better than the other one, but the audio quality is still really bad. Sorry about that. I will try to figure out how to make this not sound like crap because of the mask.